video is all about how to eat smart, avoid obesity and insulin resistance, and live in the best menopausal body ever. If you've been struggling, if you're having problems with fat loss, if you're gaining weight and you're feeling hopeless, I've got the solution. Trimming down in your menopausal years is not easy, but it is possible. I think you just need a better understanding of how your hormones and the food that you eat works in your body. Don't worry, help is on the way. My name is Connie Rutledge. I'm a functional nutritionist. I have a virtual practice and I coach women just like you. Losing fat is never easy. When you enter into perimenopause and beyond, your body's just different. And obviously, I don't need to tell you that, but understanding what worked in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, I know many of you are doing what you've always done. It worked in the past and now it's not working, so you just think you gotta work harder. That's not the case. Menopausal fat loss is very, very different than the practice you used before menopause. Your hormones are running the show. And when you have less of that hormone influx, well, it doesn't get easier. When your estrogen goes away, your body becomes way more insulin resistant. Insulin is the hormone your body produces to mitigate blood sugar, glucose. Your insulin increases. It has to, because you're eating and your body has to regulate. And if you have too much sugar on board, you can't function properly. So your body's protecting you by producing insulin, which is another hormone, and making sure that your body isn't under the attack of too much glucose. I know, that's complicated. And you don't have to worry too much about it when you really just understand strategies to be able to eat right, move your body, to be able to balance things, all things insulin. Insulin resistance is something we talk about a lot on this channel. It's so important to understand that almost all disease comes from insulin resistance. High blood pressure, heart disease, all of those things are absolutely the result of high insulin. Insulin is the fat storage hormone. It's complicated, but insulin has an effect on every cell in the body. It has the ability to grow. I'm reading Benjamin Bickman's book, Why We Get Sick, and I'm learning so much about insulin and the body's response to insulin and insulin resistance and how important it is in so many diseases. Not only is it important for fat loss, because insulin definitely is the gatekeeper in how our body uses fuel. Well, it's important for heart disease. Insulin is responsible for a lot of times high blood pressure. Insulin has an effect on our neurological brain, aging, how our skin looks. So much of how our body works is a direct response on insulin health. It's important. We need to know this, and we can't be irresponsible with how we feed our body, because all of these metabolic processes are absolutely detrimental if they're not optimized. So I think if I've made it pretty clear that insulin is definitely in the driver's seat as far as how we can control our weight gain, ability to lose fat. So you might be wondering, well, how do I do this long term? And that's the goal, to be able to maintain this like a lifestyle. So having controlled carbohydrates and time-restricted eating with plenty of protein, you're gonna hydrate for sure, and a good quality fat day in and day out, that's a recipe for success. Now, if you have metabolic resistance, maybe you have, over 25 pounds to lose, then you definitely want to start out slow. You do want to kind of focus on eating 3 times a day. That means that you fast for at least 12 to 14 hours, meaning, you finish dinner at 7 and no snacking in the evening, and you wake up the next morning and then maybe you have a cup of coffee or tea with heavy cream, and you wait another hour or two. Then you open that feeding window, you have a high quality, low carbohydrate, protein rich breakfast, and no snacking midday. You drink water, you get some exercise. Again, this is for if you are not metabolically stable and you are, needing to lose 25 plus pounds. So then you want to eat your lunch. Maybe that's at 1 o'clock. You open that feeding window for maybe an hour. You have a good high protein, low carbohydrate meal. Shut that feeding window down. And then you fast throughout the afternoon, drinking plenty of water, making sure you're getting movement in, taking a walk, doing some resistance training, being busy around the house. Then you open your dinner feeding window. And again, you eat quality foods. I'm talking about protein and plants, unprocessed foods, having the real food mantra. If it has a package around it, be very sparing eating that food. Sure, occasionally you're going to eat things that are minimally processed, but for the most part, you're focusing on eating real food. Protein and plants. It's that simple. Then, once you start becoming more metabolically stable, I also want to add that even if you are insulin resistant, you could be measuring normal on your glucose levels. If you're not able to lose fat, if you're not able to get the scale to move, then it's more than likely that you are suffering from insulin resistance. And it will take time. And I'm not talking about a week. Yeah, you might lose a pound or two when you first start high quality dieting and get some exercise in and quit snacking and doing all the, anti-inflammatory stuff. Yeah, you'll lose some fat and you'll lose some water weight. But if you're not able to maintain that and you're yo-yoing up and down, then chances are that you're insulin resistant, and you need to pay attention to what you're putting in your mouth, when you're putting it in your mouth, and how much activity you're getting, how much exercise you're getting. So as you start to become more metabolically solvent, you'll be able to go longer in between meals without feeling rough. You'll be able to do longer intermittent fasts. And I like to offer that changing up your fasting windows is a really, really important part of this quality lifestyle. Intermittent fasting is definitely something you want to focus on, but you don't want to do the same thing day in and day out. I find that my clients who eat one meal a day and do that for months on end have great success in the beginning. And then they either fall off the wagon and pile all that weight back on, or they become very, very stuck in how their body loses fat. The body likes to be kept guessing. And I know it's a confusing situation, but if you do maybe 2 meals a day, most days of the week, and you get plenty of protein and you get enough carbohydrates to sustain your energy needs and to balance everything nicely, then 1 day a week you don't fast at all. And then 1 day a week, maybe you fast all day long, or you have an extended fast, like 20 hours, 18 hours, and maybe have a very short feeding window where you don't need to get all your protein in, you don't need to get all your fuel in, but you get enough to just keep your body guessing. Just like exercise, you don't want to do the same thing in the gym every single day. Your body gets metabolically resistant to change. So you'll see the same results, and that might not be the best. I think one of the most impactful practices for fat loss is to watch the clock. Extended periods of time with no food, not no water, but no food, allow the body to process, to utilize the fuel that you've given it. And in that magical moment when it runs out of fuel, it'll tap into stored fat. So that's the beauty of fasting. Time-restricted eating is essential to maintain and build a healthy lifestyle. Eating smart is also essential. Understanding that processed food is inflammatory and typically garbage food, and your body needs fuel. You would never put something other than gasoline into your car. Why would you put something inside your body other than, yeah, it tastes good, but why would you put something that's going to poison your insides? Think about it. Think twice next time you're on the brink of blowing it. Implementing dietary changes, that's not easy. I know this, but it's really important for you to, stop obesity, stop insulin resistance. You can do this. Make a plan, make a choice. What we eat and when we eat it is essential to your long-term success. And if you're feeling stuck in your fat loss journey, then consider journaling. Nobody likes to do this. Pencil to paper and jotting down what you're eating and tallying up how many carbohydrates you get, how many protein grams you get, and how many fat grams in a day just might be surprising to you. Giving yourself the gift of data gets you results. It's so interesting when I work with clients and they start to really put pencil to paper or tallying up on an app how many actual macros they're getting in relationship to when they're eating it. Magic happens. When you start understanding and being compliant and real about what you're actually eating, you'll start having much better results. No excuses. You can be real about what you're eating. Does it make it easier? Does it make you feel like, oh, it's going to trigger my trauma about being a chronic dieter? Well, if you're not successful today, and you're slipping and you're falling off the wagon, and every single afternoon you're having a snack that you don't want to choose, then find a better way. Figure out a way to either avoid that snack, muscle through and go without, whatever it takes. Set yourself up for success by eating clean, getting plenty of protein, even overeating protein for a few days so that you don't feel hungry or you don't feel like you actually have to eat something in the afternoon or the evening. That's going to go a long way in helping you figure out how to stop a bad habit. Eating smart is essential to your longevity, to your fat loss, to your balanced plan. You can do this. Go back to the drawing board if that's what you need to do. Choose a better way. Be mindful and do what you need to do to take care of business. I'm here to help you if it seems impossible. My Jumpstart session is all about that. You deserve to feel good in your body, and I know you can do this. Get organized. Get focused, figure out your plan and stick to it. Eating smart is easy. You just need to plan ahead and stick to your plan. I invite you to try it. Hope that's helpful. If this information sounds good to you, consider subscribing and hit the like button. I'd also love it if you comment. Let me know if this works for you. If you're struggling, hey, we're all in this together. Remember, come for the fat loss, stay for the longevity. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.